Hello, everybody. My name is Akamatzu, and welcome to my channel, where today we are doing a thoughts video on the recently released DLC slash expansion of Ghost of Tsushima called Iki Island. Now, I have been looking forward to this DLC for a while, as Ghost of Tsushima was my favorite game of 2020. I gave it my game of the year. So the announcement of this new DLC, I was very excited and looking forward to it. So I'm excited to present my ideas and thoughts on the DLC with you today. So let's jump right into it. Let's start off with the gameplay elements. Ghost of Tsushima's gameplay was already really good. And for the most part, the gameplay doesn't change that drastically. They do include some new enemy types, which is pretty cool, like the shaman that you will meet right away in the DLC. The shaman is pretty cool. It basically enrages the other enemies that you fight, making it to where they are basically hyper aggressive and harder to kill. So you know how you can stagger enemies? Well, while they're under the effect of the shaman stuff, even trying to stagger them becomes harder because they are more likely to dodge your moves and just get out of your hits. Where when an enemy is not aggressive, you can kind of hit them with 3 heavy attacks, even if it doesn't stagger them, and then they'll move. They will almost always move after either the second or first heavy attack. So it just makes it a lot more aggressive, and you have to prioritize the shaman, who's usually in the back. And he's also a spear guy who, for me, was the most annoying and hardest people to take down in the base game. So there's that as well. But it's a pretty cool feature welcome into the game. They also add new mechanics with the horse. The horse can do a new thing called charging, which is sick. And I didn't really utilize it that much myself, but when you do it a couple times, does it look awesome? I didn't really find it too useful in the grand scheme of things, but I did think it was really cool. I forgot a thing. They added one more thing. They added a new enemy type, which is a guy who can switch between the 3 styles that you would fight against. He can switch between a shield, a spear slash staff, or a sword, keeping you on the fly of having to switch your stances. And it actually messed me up for a while, having to constantly switch my stances on the fly. Whether it was my controller or maybe just me coming back to the game and I sucked, I noticed actually switching through the stances was a little bit cumbersome to kind of match his speed a bit. But the guy was pretty cool and a welcome addition to the game. He kept things fresh along with the shaman. And that is actually going to conclude our gameplay segments. The gameplay is really nice. It's more ghosts. It's fantastic. The new additions are great. Loved it. Moving on to the new side stuff. The side missions are pretty much the same. You know, they're not really that different. We get new Mystic Tales, which are always fun, always cool. The art style they bring with the ink paintings are sick. They're still cool. The stuff you get from the Mystic art is really cool. I won't comment on that stuff, but it is really cool, and you'll just have to see what you get. I thought what you unlock was really neat. And the new side activities you do in the world that, you know, are not mandatory for story progression, I found they were very nice. From the new sanctuary stuff, I found it was really nice in the way you interact with them with moving the controller. The new competitions that you have to do with archery, I felt were a welcome addition. I do think that being able to use concentration kind of makes them a little bit too easy. So the first one for me was the hardest one, and they just progressively got easier. I wish there was a way to, I mean, you can self impose and do it on yourself, but using concentration made them a little bit too easy. But I thought they were a welcome addition to the world as a whole, and it was really cool. The wind shrines they added are a nice puzzle side objective that they included in the game, which I felt were pretty cool. And you get some nice rewards for them if you can figure out the puzzles. Not going to comment on what you get. You're just going to have to try and figure it out. But the new side stuff was really cool as well. Moving on to the story. The story I think was really nice. It was a lot more impactful than I thought it was going to be, especially for Jen. I did not know what to expect going into it. I was wondering if it was going to be one of those things that takes place after the main storyline, it takes place during the main storyline. It seems for me, I don't know if beating the game and doing it is different from not beating the game, but it felt like it was taking place after the game. I couldn't really, since I'm playing it after the game, I couldn't really get like a full thought on that. But the story that is there, I think, is meaningful. I enjoyed it. I welcomed it. I had a lot of fun experiencing it. The new like thing they try to do in it, it reminded me of Batman Arkham Asylum, if you can kind of guess what it is. I thought it was pretty cool. The bad guy is okay. They don't show up as much as I kind of wish they did, but I guess Khan in the main game did it as well. But the overall story and the characters we meet along the way, I thought it was really nice. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap up my video with my final conclusions. Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island, I think, walks in at $20 US, $30 for the PS5 version, and I think it's worth it. I had a lot of fun. It took me about, I didn't do all the collectibles, I didn't collect all the dies, and I think I did it in about 18 hours. They were touting, saying it is about the size of one act. I think it's a little bit shorter than that, just a tad, but not that short that it's significant of any value. I don't think their advertisement for it was correct, but that doesn't matter. I think it's a good DLC. I think it's worth the money. I had a lot of fun with it. I welcomed the new things they added. I like the storyline. I like the new side stuff they added. I had a great time. It was a welcoming surprise that they were even going to add an expansion slash DLC to it a year after the game release. This game constantly surprises me with the stuff they're adding to the game. I would like to think that this is like the final thing they're going to do, or major thing they're going to do for the solo campaign, because I would imagine the studio is probably already, working on another game. But I think the expansion pack is great, and I easily recommend it to anyone who's interested. That's going to conclude my thoughts video. What did you all think of Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island's DLC slash expansion? I don't know what to call it. They call it an expansion. I think of expansion packs and MMOs. But let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, possibly share it with your friends. If you enjoyed it again, consider checking out my Patreon page where you could consider supporting what I do here on YouTube, or also come check me out over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Akamatzu. I stream every day, 7 days a week at 2 a.m. Eastern time. I know, really early in the morning, but we have a lot of fun. So if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Again, thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see all of you in the next one. Stay crunchy, amigos.